What's up YouTube, Dougie Chong here. Welcome to today's episode where I'll be giving you my thoughts and opinions on Enbridge Stock. Before I get into the video, let me just say the market has been absolutely bonkers. Lots of stocks were shooting up like 10, 15, 20%. CCL, a stock that I hold a lot of, shot up about 20% today after shooting up 20% just yesterday. It seems like a slight slowdown in the health crisis that's going on right now has made the market go up tremendously. I did not expect it to go up so fast, but here we are. The wild market gives me plenty of content to make, but it's also difficult to make all these videos since I have to research them and film and edit the video all in the same day, or else the information becomes irrelevant. Alright, so now let's get into the main part about Enbridge. A lot of you may know Enbridge as that natural gas provider to your home, especially if you live here in Ontario, Canada. And since we all still need natural gas and electricity, this company is well poised to survive the crisis. In fact, I put like a 0% chance of Enbridge going under. The recent oil price war is a bigger concern for this company, but I'll get to that in a minute. But while researching for this video, I found out that in addition to supplying natural gas to residents in Ontario and a few other places, they are also one of the biggest transporters of natural oil crude, as well as they are heavily invested in renewable energy sources. And while I'm no expert in energy infrastructure, the basic investor can kind of see how Enbridge makes money. I think you would need a PhD and a lot of years in school to fully understand their business model. Alright, now let's look at the price chart for Enbridge stock. Over the past year, it seems like it was climbing, reached almost $60, and then it sharply dropped off a cliff. It is now trading at around $39 and was recently trading as low as $34. This price drop is due to a double whammy of two main factors. The first one is obviously the main health crisis that's going on that's caused a reduction in the demand for oil. And the second main factor is that there is a current oil price war going on between Russia and Saudi Arabia. Basically, both of these countries are trying to undercut each other, sell it for lower and lower and lower, and really nobody wins from this type of price war. Eventually, one country will give in and oil prices will go back to the ridiculous amounts. So while low oil prices are good for you as a consumer to fill up your car, it's bad for a company like Enbridge, whose one of their main businesses is transporting oil. The light at the end of the tunnel is that this is a short-term effect. Price wars are unsustainable, and eventually the oil prices will go back to where they were. Alright, now let's look at the 5-year price chart for Enbridge stock. As you can see, it kind of goes up and down, but it stays more or less the same. This is what you'd expect for a big company like Enbridge that doesn't do a lot of growth. They're very solid, and you kind of know what to expect from them. So while you don't get a lot of stock price growth, you do get a high dividend yield. Right now it's about 8.2%. Don't count on this with everything that's going on. It's likely to get slashed, but expect it to pick back up in the near future. The PE ratio about 15 is very good for this stock. The average is around 20, so it's very reasonably priced. Alright, now let's look at the balance sheet for Enbridge. I was actually a little surprised by how high their liabilities were. Let's first look at their assets. They have about $8.8 billion in current assets, whereas they have about $16 billion in current liabilities. This would usually worry me for a small company, but when you look at the sheer size of Enbridge and you look at their non-current assets of $163 billion, so a lot of that is the infrastructure it takes to build all these oil transportation infrastructures, and then their total liabilities is only $93 billion. They have a lot more assets than they do liabilities. So now to answer the question if I think Enbridge stock is a buy. Again, this is just my opinion. I am not a licensed financial advisor. This is not legal financial advice. But in my opinion, I think Enbridge stock is a buy because despite it being a pretty stable stock in most circumstances, it has dropped quite a lot recently. Add to the fact that people are going to be using oil and natural gas for the foreseeable future, and they have sizable investments in renewable infrastructure, and it seems like there's no way you can go wrong with Enbridge stock. To top it off, they have a great balance sheet and pay a pretty sizable dividend. The one caveat with Enbridge stock is that because it's such a surefire bet, don't expect huge gains. It's the typical risk-reward situation. Since there's very little risk with investing in Enbridge, there's very little reward to be had. So I would project Enbridge to reach maybe $50 tops in 1 or 2 years time. So that's about a 25% increase from where it is today. Don't be expecting 2 or 3 times the stock price. So for me, since my risk tolerance is pretty high, my safe stocks are things like Google and Facebook, which still have the ability to almost double within the next 1 or 2 years. But if I were looking for a really safe dividend stock, Enbridge stock would be a great one to buy. I'd put it right up there with the banks as how safe it is. I'll end the video off with a quick update of my simulated stock trading portfolio. I didn't buy as much as I kind of wanted to. All the stocks started taking off, but I did manage to buy about 5 more shares of Triple M at about $137. It crushed me since the first buy I had was only at $123, but it has since shot up even more and it closed today around $144. The only other stock I was able to buy was Delta Airlines at about $22.30. It was still trading at a discount, mainly because there was news that Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of all time, sold quite a lot of shares of Delta Airlines. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you learned a lot about Enbridge stock. Leave a like if this video helped you at all, and don't forget to subscribe if you have not already. Have yourself a terrific Tuesday and catch you in the next video.